Yo, what's up? It's your boy Currency 365. Hope you guys are doing well. Legends never die, they stay in our hearts. If you want to support us, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also you can come down here and hit the join button under the video or in our channel section. And you can also join our Patreon, patreon.com/currency365. And we also have Cash App and also PayPal for support if you want to sow some seeds. Peace out. God bless. Enjoy the video and keep the movement going. Legends. Bye.
So as a lot of you know, I've been in the wealth transfer since like 2011. And for a long time, I felt like my job was to help encourage people to stay and just to believe. And about a year and a half ago, I just had this sense in my spirit that the wealth transfer was done. And that we were simply awaiting the manifestation of it. And ever since then, I knew that my role had changed. But I've been so comfortable as the prophet and the wealth transfer guy. And I did that video yesterday. Hi, I need to move you. I did that video yesterday, and it's like my body just revolted. Because I knew I was holding back, because I know that I'm called to something on a higher frequency, and I still believe in the wealth transfer, 100%. Like, I'm accumulating more things as we go. I need to blow my nose. Oh, I really don't want to edit this. I think the people in my mastermind group know I've been holding back. I don't hold back with them. I function in every bit of my call. And my call now is to help unlock people, to lead them into great hope. And I have this desire in me to, there's a lot of things I want to do. I want to help CEOs and professional athletes and people that have high callings on their life. And there's a lot of you that are watching that I know have those high calls, and you're scared because it's awkward and it feels uncomfortable because you haven't done it before. Believe me, I know, because I'm there. And it's not even that I don't feel like I'm good enough, because I know that I am, and I understand the gift that I have for coaching and consulting and unlocking people and seeing what's in people and companies and organizations and what needs change and limiting beliefs. And I remember watching a video with Trevor Moawad. He was doing an interview, and I didn't know who he was, and I didn't know he had died. And I watched the video, and I remember thinking, hi, I love you, but you need to stay out of my video for a minute. My wife's laughing in the background because my cat seems to do this a lot when I sit here, and I normally just edit this out. I know who I am, and I know why I'm here. And I can't hold it back anymore. And so because of that, I'm going to be shutting this channel down, and I'm going to be moving to a new channel. And initially I was going to do two, and I was going to do stuff for wealth transfer people, and I was going to do stuff that's in line with my call, but I realized I can't do both, because when I do stuff for the wealth transfer people, I feel like I have to shrink the electromagnetic field around my body and hold myself back so that I can relate to the people that I'm talking to. And please understand, that's not an insult at all. A lot of the wealth transfer people have been holding back for so long because they're scared to dream, because they think everything is over. They think the world has ended. They think that they're broke and need money, and they're functioning in survival mode in this small little space, hoping to just survive. Most of the wealth transfer people don't dream at all. They think, well, if I can just get some money, I'm just going to survive, until I die or until Jesus comes back. And it's like, what kind of life is that? I don't believe any of that. I don't believe that the world is over. I don't believe America has died. I don't believe that you have to sit here and actually even wait for the wealth transfer. I believe that God has given us the power to create wealth. And I believe that God has given us these dreams and desires in our hearts, that when we walk in those, it allows our lights to shine. But our lights are not shining because people are just hoping to get by or don't want to step out of their comfort zone. And I'm really uncomfortable. And I'm uncomfortable not because I don't believe, but it's because I don't understand how any of this could happen. Because in the natural, it all sounds crazy. My wife and I are looking at houses that are like several $1 million. In the natural, it makes no sense, but I know in my heart that's where we're supposed to move. I know I'm supposed to go through this point where I lose like 50 pounds in 50 days. And you go like, how? We try and understand everything. We try and rationally understand, like, how is this possible? And how could this happen? And with Mark 11:23, it says that whatsoever things you desire when you pray, believe you have received them, past tense, and then you shall have them. So you have to believe that you've already received it, and then it will come. But when you believe you've received it, you don't have to try and understand how it's going to happen. And that's where most people are stuck, because they're trying to figure out, based on their current circumstances, how this could possibly happen. For me, I've been thinking, like, okay, for all these things, like, God told me there was restoration coming in my life. 7 times restoration for all that had been lost or stolen. And this came from a prophet that I told God, I just one time would like to get called out of a crowd by that guy. Well, it was either him or Kim Clement, and Kim died. So I left the one guy, and the one guy came and called me out of a crowd. And I knew before he called me that I was getting called out, because I had goosebumps from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. And when I went to this meeting, before he even called me out, I said, if anyone's getting a prophetic word today, it's me. And so I've been sitting here thinking, like, oh, well, if I win the lottery, that takes care of everything. Takes care of a massive financial windfall that I believe God told my wife and I that we were getting even before certain financial events transpired. And what happens when we're trying to figure it out, and we're trying to figure out how it's going to happen, we try and stay in what's known. So when you stay in what's known, you stay in this place where you're trying to figure out how it can happen based on what or who you currently know or understand, and you don't allow anything new to come. So when you allow nothing new to come, you're stuck. Nothing can change. You don't change, the circumstances around you don't change. You're really limited in this cycle. So you have to let go and say, I don't know how this is going to happen, but I just believe it is, and then I'm going to follow my intuition, and I'm going to step in. I'm going to step into these things, and I'm going to take one step after another that I know in my spirit that I need to take, and I'm just going to keep following that path, and I'm just going to become that person, and I'm going to vibrate on that frequency, and I'm going to carry that energy, and I'm just going to become that person. Well, in me, I know I have it in me to be the greatest coach and consultant the planet has ever seen. I went and asked God for way more wisdom. I don't feel like I should get into specifics exactly what I asked for, but I asked for stuff and I got it. And I've had it for about 8 months, maybe longer. And I've been sitting here pretending like I don't. I understand how to fix any corporation in America, any company, any business, because I just see it. I just understand it. I called the Edmonton Oilers. They were supposed to win the Stanley Cup before the year even started. They were Stanley Cup favorites. And they started 2-9-1. And I knew when they lost last year that they were going to win the Stanley Cup this year. And they were 2-9-1. And I made a video after they lost to the New York Rangers and went to 2-9-1. And I said, they're going to win. They're in the middle of a turnaround. And people laughed at me. But I didn't care this time. It was like when I had dreams about Trump winning the 2016 election, people laughed at me and told me to shut up, and I didn't put it out publicly, and I should have, and I wish I would have, but I learned from that, and I learned that it didn't matter if anybody else saw it. It mattered if I saw it. And I still wholeheartedly believe that the Oilers are going to win the Stanley Cup and that they're going to play in the conference final against Winnipeg. And it's just this energy thing that I can just like see. That's the most likely outcome. And the New York Islanders had like a 3% chance of making the playoffs. And I sat there and said, well, they should have a turnaround around March 24th because it's 63 days after they hired Patrick Waugh. And that's when their turnaround should start because that's what happened for the Oilers. It was 63 days after their turnaround started. And people are like, what are you talking about? It wasn't 63 days from when they fired their coach. I'm like, no, it was 63 days from the beginning of training camp because they brought in George Mumford. And I knew who Mumford was, and I understood what he carried, and I knew what he did. And I could understand why the Oilers sucked so bad, and why they looked like baby deer on ice, and why stuff just wasn't flowing and working. And that's how I could make the video when they were 2-9-1 and say the Oilers are still going to win the Stanley Cup. It's my gift. I just see this stuff. I just see and understand who people are, what they carry, where they fit, how this all works. And Trevor Moad, watching a video about him, I knew he was going to die the minute I watched that video because he had no hope. And he knew that because he talked about how he wasn't sure he was ever going to get into another relationship. And I could see the man had no hope. And I said, he's going to die in like 3 years. And sure enough, I found out from that video, he'd actually died in like 3 years. Ed Milet's in the same place. He's dying. I don't want him to die, but I just see this. It's obvious to me. And I see this stuff and I understand how to fix it. And I understand why Boeing is in so much trouble. I knew that years ago Boeing was in trouble and I understood why. I understood the series of events that had happened and transpired which led to Boeing being in trouble. And I understand how to fix Disney and ESPN and all these things. And I understand this. And I've been shrinking myself because I don't understand, like, how am I going to get my foot in the door to do that? It doesn't matter if I understand it. Last night, like, my body just revolted and said, you held back again. And we think that when we hold ourselves back, we're helping because, then we're able to help the people that are already familiar with us. And it's like, that doesn't actually help anybody. It's like saying that if you stay single instead of getting in a relationship, then you're going to help all the other single people out there because then they won't feel so alone in their singleness. It's like, that's stupid. You should get a relationship and then believe for all the single people in your circle to also get relationships and be an example of an incredible turnaround of, like, I went from being single to having this. The world doesn't benefit when you hold your gift back. Your gift is supposed to make room for you. But if you don't operate in your gift and you don't operate on that frequency, nobody knows. So please understand, I love the wealth transfer. I love the wealth transfer people. I love Christians. I love this community. But most people are just sitting here hoping to have enough money to last them until they die. I can't buy into that. I can't buy into this idea of retirement because I can't fathom ever retiring because I want to do what brings me joy every day of my life until I die. Maybe I don't die. Maybe that's a whole other video, but I can't play small anymore. I just can't do it. That's why I've set the price of my mastermind so high that I understand there's only like a very special group of people in here that could even meet that target. And I've done that because I know in my gut where that rate needs to be monthly for my mastermind. And I know and I understand that. And it's not even that it scares me. It's just, I'd gotten so used to being in the wealth transfer community where, I mean, people complain that $20 is expensive. And I look at it and I say, you're believing to be a billionaire and you're sitting there making the declaration that $20 is expensive. And you don't understand why that's not congruent. I'm like, you're never going to attract the billions if you sit there and keep declaring that $20 is expensive, because if you declare $20 is expensive, you're going to continue to attract situations to you that cause $20 to be expensive. Oh. Sorry. I'm sure that's, well, I don't need to apologize for that. If it's gross, I don't want to edit the video. I don't want to edit this. I believe the world is not ending. I believe America is not over. I believe that God has put these dreams in our hearts in order to walk in them. And that's what I want to do, is help people walk in the fullness of their calling, to unlock them, to help them, to lead them into great hope, and have them do the things that they were absolutely designed to do. Because I can feel this hollowness in the world right now, where it feels so hollow because so many people are not walking in their call. The Bible says that we have the power to create wealth. And yet people sit there and talk about how poor they are, or sit and talk about how they're waiting for the wealth transfer. And like, you can't be double-minded about it. You either believe that the wealth transfer is going to happen or you don't. And if you believe it is, then you should believe that you have received it, and you should be giving thanks for the wealth transfer. You should be giving thanks for things in your life getting better. You should be giving thanks for you should be in gratitude for these things that don't seem like they've manifested yet. And I understand to people that sounds crazy, but that's exactly what the Bible tells us to do. And so, effective immediately, I'm shutting this down. I'm shutting this channel down, and in a couple weeks, I will be deleting this video, and I will be moving to a new channel. I'm going to put the new channel down below. And for the first 10 people that reach out, I'm going to have a special offer for you, because I know that there's people in this community who feel a call to do something more with their life. And I have a mastermind group that I've put together, and we've been meeting weekly for like the last year and a half. We didn't meet for Christmas the last 2 years, and I don't think we met New Year's. But basically, it's like 48, 50 weeks of the year we're meeting every week, and we're meeting together to get better. And if that makes sense to you, I've drastically increased the cost of my group, because I know that's where it needs to be. That's where it needs to be going forward. But I will have a special offer only available for the next 10 people that reach out to me. And I'm going to have a special offer for you. Oh, and even in my flesh, I want more people. It's going to be for the first 10 people that reach out, and this offer is not going to be available to anybody else. And I will give you a special offer to watch the replays only, so you don't get access to the group, you don't get access to anything, and you have to pay full price for that. But for 10 people, I will make available the replays of this group, and I'm doing that so that I don't open that up to more people and stick in my comfort zone, because I need to go find these next level of people that are supposed to be part of our group. The group is 300 people. I can see it already, and I can just see how we're all on the same page because we've been part of the same group, and we're all growing and developing, and we're just on the same wavelength. So somebody needs like this connection, right? So just let's say example, like the best realtor in Ohio. Well, somebody in our group has a connection to the best realtor in Ohio, and so that happens in like 5 seconds. We know that it's good because we have this standard in our group, and the standard doesn't deviate, and everybody's on that same kind of standard. So when you ask for a referral, or you ask somebody in the group, hey, I need this, and somebody does that in the group, and then it's just a connection that's made faster. You're already on the same wavelength as all these people, so you just understand the standards. That's what the group is. And it's unlike anything else that has ever been created in the earth in any time. And so for 10 people, I will make the replays available at a lower price than what I'm charging for the group. And this is to reward people that basically take action, that actually want to step out and change their lives. And yeah, it's still a lot. For some people, it might be a lot of money, but you have to decide, do you want to invest and change or not? You're either going to have to put in money or time. You're going to have to do one of the two or both. Because if you just stay in this state where you decide, I need money and I need God, you don't have to wait for something outside of you to happen. All change happens from the inside out. You aren't waiting on God. God is waiting on you. God is waiting on you to figure out who you are, so you realize how amazing you are, and you realize what you've been given. I love this community. But it's just time for all of us to move up and to move into something even better. And I can't do the two at once. And so this is what I need to do to move to the next level.